No mercy! Strike first, strike hard.
Do you have a dog, sir? Sensei?
Quiet! Quiet!
Yes, Sensei.
Hey everybody, how are we doing? Welcome to another episode of TLU, and I always say episode, but you know what? Yep. TLU presents Today They Karate Kids. All right. Yeah.
The Karate Kai special.
The Karate Kid. The Karate Kai. Oh, okay.
Karate Kai.
Karate Kid special. Nice, nice. As we see here, we see the background. You know,
woo!
All the masterful Karate Kid movies that have come out from the very first to the very last named show. And today we're going to talk about all of them. We're going to talk about all of the Karate Kid movies. We're going to talk about what we think about them. And we're going to give our ranks into our preference, which one is our most favorite to our least favorite, and probably which one's the worst, if we think one is extremely bad or is the worst. But we're definitely going to be talking about all the Karate Kid movies. And all the way to the end, we're actually going to continue. We're going to also talk about Cobra Kai. But yes, today, my name is Quiet Sensei, and we got
and I am Ashley-san.
Ashley-san, all right.
Ashley-san.
Welcome to those who are joining us, right? Ashley-san. Ashley-san.
Yeah.
All right. So, welcome to those who are joining us. How have you guys been? How is your day? I know that yesterday we were here as well, but how's your day going? I hope you're in for a ride because, I hope you love the Karate Kid. That's our purpose today.
Yeah.
And I'm so excited. I'm pumped. I really want to talk about these movies because these movies have a lot to say to different generations, actually. You know, these movies have different generations backing them up. Every single one, if you think about it, now that I'm thinking about it, actually, every single one does have a backing of a different generation.
And this started because last week we were reviewing Cobra Kai season 3. We loved it. I think it's the best season so far. And I had never seen the Karate Kid. My first experience with the Karate Kid was with the one with Jackie Chan, which that's not karate, but we're going to get into that, soon when we talk about it. That was sort of my first experience with the Karate Kid. I know my dad was a huge fan of the original films, but my first experience was with that one, and then seeing Cobra Kai, not having any idea what the Karate Kid is, because I remember you were like, we have to watch this show. Yeah, it's based on the Karate Kid. It's awesome. And I was like, what? And so I loved season 3 so much that it inspired us to search for all of the movies this past weekend, and we saw all 5 Karate Kid films, including the original, the first 3. We saw the revamp sequel, and then the remake. We saw it last night, so we just wanted to talk about it because they're pretty epic. I really gotta say, they're pretty epic.
And every single one has their own message and how they impacted, in those years, the youth, what is right now, the adults, the older generation, but still young because they're not really that old. But it's fantastic. So hop into the dojo because we're going to go right in. And by the way, before you mistaken me, everybody out there, today I am Quiet Sensei. All right? All right? Not John. It's Quiet Sensei.
Exactly. I'm just Ashley-san. That's it.
All right. All right. So, Ash, take it away with the Karate Kid from 1984.
Yeah, obviously, we cannot start this special without talking about the OG, The Karate Kid that it came out in 1984, and this film basically tells the story of Daniel LaRusso, where he is taught karate by Mr. Miyagi in order to defend himself and compete in a tournament against Cobra Kai and Johnny Lawrence, who is the ex-boyfriend of LaRusso's love interest, Allie. Allie, who we saw in this last season of Cobra Kai.
Cobra
She made
Kai,
her comeback.
yes.
And she was a spectacular addition to the season. You had seen this film before, right?
Yes. The first time that I saw this film, I was super younger than this. Like, it was more than 15 years ago. And, the fun of this film was pretty much karate. That was the thing. It was the name. It was this new thing that really wasn't really elevated that much in America. And I mean, at least in where I was from in Puerto Rico. And this film, when I saw it, was one of the inspirations to where I wanted to be in martial arts. Other than that, it was the game Mortal Kombat.
I remember that one.
It was Mortal Kombat and
Street Fighter.
For me, Street Fighter. Okay, Street Fighter for you, yes.
Yeah.
But this was one of the movies that actually inspired me to do that. And watching it again, it was a great movie for its time. Like, it's very inspirational. I know you had some fun facts to talk about in a second, but this movie was great. So give me the facts.
So some fun facts of this film specifically is that the writer of the film, Robert Mark Kamen, he was approached by Columbia Pictures to write a film similar to Rocky, because I think by this time Rocky had come out and Rocky was a huge hit. It won Best Picture at the Oscars. And I think Columbia Pictures was kind of gunning to make sort of a film in the same line. So this is why The Karate Kid was born. And it is actually considered Hollywood's biggest sleeper hit of the year, grossing $100 million in the US and Canada in the box office. So this was the surprise that nobody expected, I'm guessing.
Yes. And by the way, not to correct you, but grossing.
Grossing. Sorry. Grossing. But you guys get it. It made a lot of money.
But it definitely is considered a Rocky film, pretty much, for the karate fans. And again, the installment of this one is pretty much Danny LaRusso, who is the young Karate Kid, and he's coming from Jersey right now. Funny enough, we both live in Jersey.
He's from Newark, right?
Yep. So he's coming from Jersey all the way to California because his mom got a job over there, and new kid, new school, new friends. He gets invited to a group to go out to the beach and play some soccer and spend the day on the beach and here and there. And he does have fun and enjoys it. But in the horizon, we get the love interest, which is Allie. And that's where it all starts, where Allie actually had an ex-boyfriend, which, as Ash explained, is Johnny Lawrence. Sensei Lawrence, which is, or Johnny Sensei, or is it Lawrence Sensei? Sensei. It's just.
I mean, I think it's just. Isn't sensei like the term for like a teacher?
I think it's just. Yes, it's just that in two different languages, they actually either do sensei in front or sensei backwards.
Oh, got you.
Yeah. Because I remember watching Naruto. Naruto always says Kakashi Sensei or Guy Sensei.
Yes, that's true.
Oh, yeah. So yes, in English, it's first the name and then the sensei. But so the the thing about the entire movie is pretty much you get this kid that gets beat up because he's just liking the girl that the boy is no longer with, but he's still jelly. He's still jelly. He's still a little bit jealous, and he gets to feel himself and start kicking LaRusso's butt.
Yep.
Kicking LaRusso's ass, and it's hard for him. It's far hard for him in his trajectory to accommodate himself to a new place.
Mm-hmm.
And with all of this, he seeks help. He seeks the aid of martial arts, but at first he actually looked for it in the wrong place, which he
Yeah.
actually walked into a dojo, and the dojo ended up being Cobra Kai, the
Cobra Kai.
dojo where Johnny Lawrence actually is the bullies
Mm-hmm.
for LaRusso.
Yeah.
So then, as he goes back, you meet oh my god, Miyagi.
Mr.
Miyagi
Miyagi.
Sensei, Mr.
Yes.
Miyagi, which is Pat Pat Ma-
Morda.
Morda, Pat
Mm-hmm.
Morda. Which rest in peace. He passed out. I mean, he passed out. Sorry, he
He passed
passed
away.
away. He passed away.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. But he meets him, he learns his karate, and then we get this whole trajectory into like, back and forth of I'm gonna beat you, I'm not gonna beat you. We get to this tournament, which is the epic fight.
The
It's like
finale.
it's the finale. It's like Rocky versus Apollo in the first movie.
Yeah.
This is just LaRusso versus Johnny versus Lawrence, and it was great because I prefer. I know Rocky is you can feel it's more epic in terms of how it's more adults, and there's more I don't know. I think Rocky has been put more up there in a pedestal than the Karate Kid because
Mm-hmm.
Rocky has continued throughout the years
Yeah.
to
And
be published.
also you have to understand the fact that Rocky was tackling boxing, which is a
Yes.
sport that is very well known in the United States. Another
Yes.
fun fact is that the Karate Kid, when it was launched, apart from it being a surprise, it actually made karate popular in the United
Yeah.
States. So this film was the start of people getting to know karate, getting to experience it in some way, shape, or form through the film, and then feeling inspired to maybe partake in it in real life. So
Mhm.
I think if there was a difference to talk about between Rocky and the Karate Kid, I think it would be that it's just the type of the sport that
Yes.
each is showcasing in these films.
Mm-hmm. And in those times, we still had Muhammad Ali, we had
Mm-hmm.
Joe Frazier, we had George Foreman, that epic fight that they had in Africa, I believe it
Mm-hmm.
was. We had Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson. I don't know, Sugar Ray Robinson was even old at times. But,
Yeah.
that was that's why Rocky actually took a little bit more of helm, and throughout history, it
Mm-hmm.
became more popular than the Karate Kid. But thanks to Cobra Kai, now that's actually coming back. And not just
Yeah.
Cobra Kai, UFC. The sport
Yeah.
UFC is actually right now more popular, and this is true. UFC is actually more popular than the
WWE?
boxing. No, boxing. Boxing. No,
WWE.
boxing. Not WWE.
Oh,
Boxing. It's more popular than
that's
boxing.
wrestling.
That's
There
wrestling, exactly.
you go.
It's more popular than boxing right now. And you can even tell for those who are gamers, you could even see that there's no boxing game like since 2010, I think it was, or 2012. It's only been UFC games.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that being said, you get to the finale and you get, Johnny Lawrence versus Daniel LaRusso, and of course we get the famous crane kick. Where that's after the beating that LaRusso has to go through, and all these matches. Which that's what I appreciated a little bit more than what Rocky would be, which is they have to go through this tournament live right there, and sustain the beatings and go through there in different matches, different styles, different people. That they have to go through in order to actually get to the last match. Which boxing is just, you get right there one single bout. And it was fantastic because of that. And
I
I
actually
freaking loved it.
I know you mentioned I know you mentioned of UFC, but I actually prefer boxing and karate. I think UFC, even though it can be entertaining, I think it's too violent.
Karate falls into UFC, because UFC is mixed martial arts, but it's Ultimate Fighting Champions. That's what it's entailed.
Mm, mm,
So if
mm,
you love
okay.
karate, it's just that when you
Mm.
see it in the
Oh,
movies,
let's just say I like
it's
karate
not.
in movies.
You
That's all
like
I'm
it in
gonna
the
say.
movies where it's a little bit less
I like it in
bloody.
the films. I like it in the films.
Because when you see it live, that's the
Yeah,
reality.
I don't enjoy UFC as much as I enjoy a boxing match. Woo, Spider Popo is
Hey,
here. Es la que
how you
hay.
doing? How you doing,
Thank you
Spider
for being
Popo?
here. What is up? Buenas
Saludos,
noches.
saludos.
Thank you for being here.
Oh yeah,
But
Brad Sensei.
yeah, he's quite sensei, and I'm
Brad Sensei.
I'm Ashley San, so
Ashley
that's
San.
gonna be Ashley San. But yes, for me, having it be like my first time seeing it, I remember watching this film and understanding why Cobra Kai was so big. Because essentially this first film serves as the base for Cobra Kai's first season, because we are picking up with superhero landing. Because we are picking up with Johnny's story, because in this film he gets defeated, and John Kreese basically he's embarrassed that Johnny is his student. So we see Cobra Kai picking everything up after a couple of years, and then them making their comeback, and then to get to the point where they get to in season 3. Oh my God! Don't get in trouble.
Don't get in
Pero
trouble.
gracias, pero ten cuidado.
Thank you.
But yeah, my experience with this film is I loved it. I loved that I had the same feeling that I had watching Cobra Kai, because I feel that even though Cobra Kai is more modern, it still has all of the elements that make the Karate Kid amazing. And that's something that is very, very admirable. So for my first experience, I really enjoyed this film. I enjoyed the chemistry between Danny LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi. Their bond is something that is very strong in this first film, and we continue to see it develop throughout the other films as well. And I have to say that I hate when Mr. Miyagi cries.
Yo,
I hate when Mr. Miyagi, no bosses around, tranquilo. Okay, good.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think you're going a little bit ahead, because you don't see him do that till the other movies. In the first one, he's not crying. Oh wait, no,
yeah,
you're right.
He
When
tells
he's drunk,
Danny about him losing his
you're
wife
right.
and son during childbirth.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was
so
insane.
so I have another like 2 more fun facts from the Karate Kid. Thank you, Spider Popo. That's exactly what I told him before going live. That is exactly what I told him.
A new type of Metal Gear was scheduled for transport.
That is exactly what I told him.
And our noses have been on the cold too long.
It's exactly what I told him. He wants to take Oscar Isaac's place in the film.
I could be a twin. Doesn't matter.
You can be.
I could be Big Boss. Brother. Such a pleasure for you to join.
But yeah, and Ash looks like the old Shakira. Oh, sweet! I'll take it. That's my favorite Shakira Spider Popo. Like people say, like, oh, the new Shakira, and I'm like, no, Shakira when she had black hair.
Shakira.
Yes, she was. That was epic Shakira. But yeah, the last 2 fun facts that I have is if you guys didn't know. Actually, Pat Morita, he earned a nomination for Best Supporting Actor at the Academy Awards. And this is something that I didn't know, but I found out today. Apparently, in January 2020, so in this month, no, last year, sorry, it was announced that the film would be adapted into a Broadway musical produced by the company.
What?
Kinoshita Group. Can you believe that?
What? Wait. Repeat that. Let me hear it one more time, please.
In January 2020, it was announced that The Karate Kid, this film, will be adapted into a Broadway musical produced by the company Kinoshita Group.
All right, okay. Wow. Okay. All right.
That's gonna be stinking cool.
All
I gotta say.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid, but I would love the idea to see a performance in martial arts.
I
That's
want to
what I
see like
want to see.
let's get down to business. To defeat. I want to
And
see
then,
something like that in the Karate Kid. Yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
But I
dun,
don't think but I think it's gonna be it's not gonna be in the United States. I think they're gonna develop it outside of the United States, and maybe if it's successful.
Okay, I get it.
And we were talking about Rocky. If you guys didn't know, Rocky was a film that was also adapted into a Broadway musical at some point.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, bendición. Thank
Good to
you.
see you.
Oh my
What you
God, a
like? Oh my god.
musical. And
I think
I said the same thing. I was doing my research looking for fun facts, and then all of a sudden it was like, hey, there's a musical adaptation. Pat Morita was not the first option for Mr.
that is
Miyagi.
correct.
That is correct. And actually, when they told the writer that they were looking to do a film in the same lines as Rocky, he was the person that actually fought for Pat Morita to be in the film because he had a very specific casting, and he told Columbia Pictures, this is the casting that has to be in this film. It cannot be anybody else. So I don't know if Mulan 2.
They were probably for a musical.
I
That's
don't
what
think so.
he might be talking about.
They should just leave Mulan alone at this point.
Yeah.
Too much.
All right, so this is the end for Karate Kid 1, the first one. We're gonna jump into the second one because we trust me, we'll stay forever. We like 23 minutes speaking about the first one.
Wow. And there's like four more movies.
A lot. And here we go.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to be jumping into Karate Kid 2 now. And don't forget, we're actually going to rank the movies before we leave. And we're going to explain why that's our rankings.
Yes.
So here we go. Karate Kid 2.
So before I start, if you guys have your ranking of your favorite... Quiet! If you guys have... ¿Qué pasa? Joncito Bonito, what is up? Yeah, so if you guys have your ranking of the Karate Kid films in your favorite order, put it in the comments and we will showcase it right here. We have ours. That's going to be for the end of this discussion.
Yeah, you could put it in, or if you want to wait till we start ranking the movies, you can rank yours in the chat. But in the meantime, we're just going to continue talking about the Karate Kids till we actually reach the very last one. We're talking about all 5 Karate Kid movies, including the remake. So it's Karate Kid 1, 2, 3, the next Karate Kid, and the Karate Kid from Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith. So Karate Kid 2, Ash, here we go. Daniel, focus.
So Karate Kid 2, this one was released in 1986, and it tells a story of Daniel LaRusso again, but this time he accompanies Mr. Miyagi on a trip to Okinawa, where Miyagi is reunited with loved ones and old adversaries. So this ended up being my favorite film, because out of the
you should have waited for that. But
sorry. It's okay.
You can't tell anybody yet.
I'll talk about that later. But I really like this film because I feel that in the first film, the spotlight was for Danny LaRusso and his journey, and then in this story, we actually get to see Mr. Miyagi's story. His father's death, he reunites with the love of his life, and then we see Danny LaRusso in Okinawa with new enemies and with, I think that's his true love, the girl in this film.
I agree as well.
Which she appeared in season 3 of Cobra Kai as well, and that was my favorite episode. So
I forgot her name. I'm gonna search it right now.
Was it Kumiko?
Kumiko? Was it? I think it was Kumiko.
I think it was Kumiko.
Kumiko. Let me see. Karate Kid Hall. And here we go. Kumiko. I think it's Kumiko too. We are probably right. Let me see. Karate Kid 2. Pat, the referee. Why are the referees like the first ones in the IMDb? That's like stupid.
I have no idea. If anything, I can start giving out the fun facts until you find her name. Yes,
continue. Yes.
Okay, so some of the fun facts for the Karate Kid 2 is The opening scene that we see in this film, it was originally planned to be the ending for the first film, but then that got cut to the ending that we all know. And the ending of the first film opens the Karate Kid 2, which takes place the same night that Danny LaRusso wins the tournament. And also, this movie inspired 2 video game adaptations. The first is titled The Karate Kid 2, the computer game, and it was developed by Microdio and Atari ST. And the second one is titled The Karate Kid for Nintendo, and it used elements based from this, from the second film, and it included the drum technique exercise.
The drum technique exercise. Wow. Yeah. The
and the last fun fact that I have for you guys is that beautiful area of Okinawa that we see in the movie, most of that was filmed in Hawaii.
Yes, that is. So, that's how
interesting.
That's how you get the notion of how everything would look and how it looks, and it kind of fell into what Hawaii also was at a certain point. They had in real life, for those who didn't know, they actually had a base in Hawaii, military base in those times. So it kind of falls into place similar to what's happening in the movie. But before we continue, Robert Martinez says, for me, the best is Karate Kid 2. The name was Kimiko. We were right as well.
Kimiko.
Yeah, Kimiko. Yep, that's my favorite episode for the entire season.
I agree. Mine
and he says 2, 1, 3, 5, and 4. That's his ranking. But don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. We gotta wait. Thank you for sharing your rankings.
Okay.
Spider Bobo.
That's not bad. That's not bad.
Directly to the nostalgia heart. Yes.
I gotta say, I agree with Spider Popo because, again, I hadn't seen Karate Kid, and I felt such emotion when I saw that episode where he goes back to Okinawa. So to see it in this film, it was. I love this film. I already said it. So this is my favorite one out of all of them. So. It shows the past of Mr. Miyagi. I think that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah, it shows the past of Mr. Miyagi. And this movie is fantastic because it has, I know that the first one had like hard styling, but I think this one carries more weight into everybody's story. And like all characters in the main line, giving them weight to who they really are. And you can even tell, you can even fall with Danny. Like Danny has a revelation of who he really is, who he really wants to be, and who he truly is as a person, what he cares most about. And you can tell by him going with Mr. Miyagi and accompanying him to that trip, because he could have gone with his mom to where she was going.
Yeah.
But he decided to go to Mr. Miyagi and help him out because, his father was dying. And it was amazing because you get to see Mr. Miyagi's one of his loves, like his old loves. From when we knew on the first one, he had a family, they died. But then he had another love that he left behind in Okinawa because, and let me not mistake the names right here, Sato, I think was the name of his best friend and adversary, which he actually had a common person that they were in love with. So in order for them to have her, they had to fight to the death. So this is how we know. This is how we figure out that Mr. Miyagi didn't learn karate just for peace and all that. Like he used to kill people.
Well, he turned. I think another interesting aspect that this film showcases is the fact that we get to see greed from his side.
Because of us, he's going to see them this week. Hell yeah!
Nice. So if you're going to see them, Spider Popo, they are on Amazon Prime, but they have ads. But it's not. The ads aren't bad. It's like
Yeah, it's 1 minute ads. Honestly,
1 minute ads.
We saw them like that, and
Yeah,
they're great.
and it was fine.
Yeah, and the
Um,
scene when
mm,
he saves the child in the
I
storm.
love that scene.
Yeah, and then you get to see the kid all grown up in Cobra Kai in
Yes,
the third season
she's
that
the one
saves his
who.
company.
Yep, she's the
That
one that
was
saves the
amazing.
company for Danny LaRusso.
So you know, I freaking love these movies, and even more, you get to appreciate those who have never seen Karate Kid. You can see Cobra Kai. You don't have to see the Karate Kid movies to understand Cobra Kai, but it has more weight in terms of its feelings and the soul. And when you watch them, it's more sweeter to know, oh, this is when he did this. If you go back and see the movies,
Yeah,
so it's not
there's a lot of
necessary, but if you do, the experience will be so much better.
and there's a lot of Easter eggs that you notice, in the Karate Kid films that are used in Cobra Kai. Oh, okay,
Yes, my
okay,
lord.
okay,
Sorry,
fine,
sorry. That's how much time.
fine, fine.
Sorry, Sensei.
Yeah, but I love this film. I especially
Mhm.
love the I especially love the last fight because it was an actual, you see the difference from the first movie to this one. The first one was in a tournament. This one was win or die.
This
Literally
was pun intended Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat.
This was
And
Mortal Kombat.
and I love the opening sequence when Mr. Miyagi is fighting John Kreese, and he's just
Mm.
like, "Do or die, man." And he's like, "Die," and then he's like, "Honk." No, he does the nose thing, honk,
Oh, turn.
honk.
And we definitely saw that again in
We did.
because okay, Chosen. Let's talk about Chosen. And let me just put this right back again so that you guys can know who I'm talking about. That is Chosen.
Mhm.
Scorpion, like right there, Scorpion. We got Scorpion to the right.
Yeah.
And Chosen was the worst, in my opinion. He was the worst adversary that he could have. I know that the third one, he has a meaner person because he's more loose, but I think Chosen is the worst adversary that he could have had because it was to the death. And he would have killed him. Chosen would have killed him because that was his belief and his teachings from Sato, his sensei. Is you fight to the death. That is truly no mercy. And
Yeah.
what John Kreese was trying to teach his students couldn't grasp it, but Chosen would have done it. That was the difference. If John Kreese was the sensei of Chosen, I think Chosen would have been a killer.
Yeah.
A definite
Oh,
killer.
yeah. I
So,
mean, he didn't save the girl in the storm. You remember that they told him to help Danny
exactly.
LaRusso, and his uncle was like, "Okay, so you're dead to me."
You're
The
dead to me.
uncle he was so greedy, and he was such a bad friend to Mr. Miyagi. He ended up changing, and then he was just like, "You know what? Like, forget me. Like, I'm dead to you right now." So
Yeah, exactly. And so this fight was incredible because again, the what was the method of the sorry, what did you call it? What was it?
the drum
Drum method,
exercise.
the drum
Mhm.
exercise, which was you
Yes.
get these strings with these two little spheres drumming to the sides, and it was pretty much a great exercise because it was him as he twists. It's like you're doing abs exercise, but it's like you twist. It's like
Mhm.
parry and then punch and then twist,
Yeah.
parry and then punch, parry, punch, parry, punch. So it was just him centered, and it was a great one because it was more.
Mhm.
It was mortal. It was more mortal in terms of brutality, and you get the crane kick. The crane kick, of course, it's classic, but you can.
Yeah.
They showed it that you cannot do that all the time. It's an
Mhm.
easy target if the opponent already knows and expects this type of kick.
Exactly.
So the crane kick, it's pretty much you have to strike fast.
Mhm.
And the drum exercise was incredible because you can actually do that in real life. It's like boom, 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 boom. It was amazing.
Isn't it funny that, at least for me, seeing that drum again as an adult, the memories that I have getting those drums was when I used to go to like Disney on Ice, or these shows that they would do in Puerto Rico, like La Feria or something like that, and
Yeah,
you could buy them, and you're just like tuk, 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 and to see them in this film and know that it means so much more than just a toy. I was just like,
and
wow.
yeah, and before we end, and you hit like the last fun facts, if you have any, the fun fact that I do have, is that every single movie of Karate Kid, including Cobra Kai and the new Karate Kid, the remake, they all have something in common, and it's that karate and kung fu lives in everything, and it's everything. So you can learn karate and you can learn kung fu from everything. You just twist the method.
Yeah, exactly.
You can learn it. So, any final facts? Any fun facts left that you have before we jump into the third one?
No,
All
I
right.
gave them up. Yeah, this is my favorite one, The Karate Kid 2.
All right, guys. So let us know some other facts if you have any, or if you want to keep talking about it. If not, we're just going to jump into the third one. For those who don't know, today I am Quiet Sensei. Today, sorry, and she's Ashley's son. Sorry if I blew your eardrums, but it's Quiet Sensei.
Yes, Sensei.
Okay.
Sorry, Sensei.
Hi.
Yes, Sensei.
Hi.
Yep.
All right. We jump into the Karate Kid 3. And this one, they are doing what, Ash?
So this one was released in 1989, and it basically tells the story of John Kreese, who returns and seeks revenge with his friend Terry Silver, who is in the... I picked this picture just because of Terry Silver, because this guy is freaking insane.
He is the most psychopath villain that you've seen in
I can't wait to see him in season 4.
In all the Karate Kids.
I can't wait to see him in Cobra Kai season 4. I think it's going to be epic. And basically he teams up with Terry Silver to harm Danny LaRusso and Miyagi's relationship. And this is the film where we actually see that time that Danny LaRusso trains in Cobra Kai for 2 weeks, I believe, because Mr. Miyagi doesn't want him to enter another tournament, because he feels that there is no need for him to prove himself once again. So some fun facts. This film was the one that received the most negative reviews of the 3. And apparently this film was intended to be a prequel with our 2 main characters before that idea was scratched, and it ended up being an original story, and the story that we see in this third film. Another interesting fact is the fact that both Robin Lively, who played Jessica, and Martin Kove, who plays John Kreese, they were both meant to have bigger roles in this film. The problem with the actress that played Jessica was the fact that she was 16 at the time, and Ralph Macchio was 27, even though he looked like he was 18 years old. He's supposed to be 18 years old in the Karate Kid 3. So what happened here was that they actually had to change their relationship from romantic to a close friendship. So that's why we never actually see them go forward with anything else, which is something that we both wanted, if I'm completely honest,
Yeah, I didn't want them to be together, because then there would have been like, oh, come on, man. Like, I mean, it's not because of him. It's more like, another love interest.
Exactly.
Like, I don't care about it. After Kumiko, after Kumiko, nobody is gonna be the love of your life, bro. You're married right now with I even forgot her name because she's not that interesting
even her,
to me.
Bro. Sorry.
But bro, Kumiko is the love of your life.
Yeah.
Even if you're married to somebody else, bro.
Exactly. And in Martin Kove's case, he actually had scheduling conflicts because he was involved with another project at the time. But thanks to this, Terry Silver was born. So they created Terry Silver out of the actor who plays John Kreese not having enough time to be in the film. And the last fun fact that I have for you guys is that this film was nominated for 5 Golden Raspberry Awards in 1989, but did not win any. Wow. And if you guys don't know what the Golden Raspberry Awards are, it is a ceremony where they honor the worst in Hollywood.
They still do.
I think it's the Razzies now. I think it's a
Yeah,
Razzie
they
thing.
still do. I remember that. Remember
The Halle Berry one.
Halle Berry one. Halle
She
Berry
killed
one.
it.
I was very for Catwoman. She's
You
like,
know,
"Thank you,
thanks to
Warner
my
Brothers,
agents
for
for
making me do
putting me in
this
this
fucking
great
movie." And it was like, "Oh my god,
And she
Catwoman
went.
sucked."
If you guys haven't seen the Halle Berry one, she went with her
Oh my
Oscar.
gosh.
Okay, she went with her Oscar, and she said thank you to her agents for putting her in such a fucking bad movie. That's what she said. She killed
Yes.
it. She owned it. She owned it. So yeah, I think out of the three, this is the one that is like at the bottom
Yes.
of the pit. In terms, I personally, I wasn't mad about this film. I don't think
No.
it's perfect. I think it had a lot of flaws, but I love Terry Silver. I love the mind
Yes.
games that he was playing and how he planned everything accordingly, and he was playing LaRusso from the start. And you were just like, man, you are not seeing anything. Like, what is up?
Yo,
What
I
is up?
love Terry Silver. I love it. Every time I was watching, I was like, he's so bad. He's so
Yeah.
bad. He's so bad.
Yeah. So I have to say that for me, even though I feel that this is not the strongest Karate Kid film, I feel
Mhm.
that Terry Silver is the saving grace of this film because of his performance and because of everything that he does and how he turns
Yes.
into a psycho at the end. So I got to give it to them because of that
At
fact.
the end? Yeah, he's a psycho throughout the
No,
entire film.
no, I know, but when he's training Danny LaRusso, that's when Danny starts to see, he's like, oh, this guy is a psycho. And
Yeah,
I'm just like,
and
yeah, bro.
yes, to me, this movie, again, yes, this movie was the weakest out of all of them.
Mhm.
And I think in my rankings, I might have, I don't know if I might have made a mistake in that. It's just, I think I didn't make a mistake. I'll tell you guys later what. But
Mhm.
the actor Thomas Ian Griffith, which is the one that plays Terry Silver,
Yeah.
is exactly as Ash mentioned what saved the movie for me. Now, the performance from Mr. Miyagi and from Daniel LaRusso,
Mhm.
Pat Morita, and Machio, actually were very well done.
Mhm.
Because of the reception, they bounced off one another in that movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it was, are you going to train me? The struggle of belief, the struggle of Miyagi not wanting him to get hurt, and he would cry. This was the movie that I actually saw Mr. Miyagi cry even more. Pat Morita, showed off his skills in that department, and it
Mhm.
was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
It was heartbreaking. And what I loved to do about this movie the most was the inspiration of Danny to make
Mhm.
Mr. Miyagi's dreams come true, and him forgetting about his studies, him forgetting about his scholarship, him forgetting about paying for his own college,
And
and
I was I
uh-huh.
I I was telling you that this is the film where we get the hint.
Yes,
We saw this
oh
film,
my
and I was
god,
like, this is why Danny LaRusso ended up selling cars,
yo, you
because
clearly see
the
it.
whole scene when he gets the loan and he gets the place for Mr.
Hey,
Miyagi,
yeah,
he was like,
yo,
"Hey, I know this is bad, but
yo,
look at this
yo,
counter. We can
in
make
the
this
future,
easy." And
yo,
I remember looking at John, and I was like, "This is why he ended up being a
yo.
salesman."
You
It's
said, yo,
incredible.
Mr. Miyagi, in the future, I told you this is gonna be a great
It
place
was
to,
incredible.
you can buy your bonsai right here, and you can make a little section for you, to clean them up. So it's gonna make a fortune. Right now, a little bit. It doesn't look too good right now, but it's gonna be looking in the future.
It
Yeah,
was insane. It was
it was.
insane, man.
Oh my god!
It was
Yeah,
great. It was
this
great.
is this exactly, and thank you for mentioning that, Ash. This is
Mhm.
that fun fact. That's a fun fact.
Mhm.
I would have put it right there. Fun
Fun
facts.
fact.
This is the movie where you get to see Danny LaRusso's skills as a salesman, and that's why
Mhm.
Cobra Kai, is a car salesman. He owns a dealership with his future wife. So it's so funny, Karate Kid. You see that in every single movie, and that's what I appreciate so much
Mhm.
about Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
And who hasn't seen these movies can appreciate even more that whoever wrote, I mean, not whoever wrote, we know who wrote, but the
Mhm.
writers and even the producer, because Machio also produces.
Mhm.
Will Smith actually produces, and we'll jump into that as well
Yeah, yeah.
later on. How Will Smith actually got into this.
Mhm.
Um, they looked at the movie so carefully and knew exactly when to put it in, and then jam everything into one season. They're taking
Mhm.
their time and exploring these movies into Cobra Kai. They're expanding the lore of Karate Kid so well that when you, again, as I mentioned, if you see Cobra Kai and then you jump back to watch Karate Kid movies, you see, wow,
Yeah,
everything
man. Insane.
so well. They did it right, and it's so sweet. It is
Yeah.
so sweet. So
It you can tell that the writers, because that the only reason why Ralph Macchio accepted Cobra Kai was because the writers were fans of the original films. And I
yes.
think the writers have taken the best parts of
Mhm.
each film and they've incorporated into a new story, and also incorporating Johnny Lawrence's point of view, which is it's
The best
sick, man.
thing. The best
It's
thing.
sick. They've done an
Yeah.
amazing job.
Now,
So
yeah, and speaking of Karate Kid 3, it's good, and you mentioned it. So glad that they didn't add another relationship, because at the
mhm.
beginning of the movie, you could see that this girl starts moving forward very fast,
Oh my god, like so
and
quickly, and I was
yeah, I
like,
was like,
whoa, whoa,
"Whoa,
whoa,
you want to
whoa,
go
whoa,
out and
whoa,
stuff?"
whoa,
And,
whoa.
and she says herself, "I'm sorry if I'm moving too fast and I sounded forward." I was like, "Yeah, thank you
Yeah,
for
you did
noticing, because
exactly.
like, hello." And she doesn't know, but he just came off, a relationship, man. It's like,
hmm
let him breathe. He might, that's the thing, and that's the thing about Danny in this movie. That you know, it's not his fault. That the girls always leave him.
Yeah,
It's not his
and
fault. And at least Kumiko, Kumiko
mhm,
didn't actually leave him because they didn't like each other, or
mhm.
she didn't like him. It was because she accepted a job at a dance company, which is what you should do, and what you should the example that you should not follow from High School Musical movies.
Oh my god,
You should not follow
guys,
it,
I gotta say something.
bro. We watched. Oh my god,
We
we
watched
gotta
High
make
School
a special
Musical. We gotta make a special of High School
of these
Musical
movies.
because
Like,
we I don't remember when it was. I think it was probably either, if it wasn't 3 weeks ago, it was probably a month ago. I told John, I was like, I want to watch High School Musical. I haven't seen it in a while. And we started rewatching these films, and we have to say that these characters make the dumbest choices. And then you have Sharpay, who is sold as the villain. And guys, Sharpay is not the villain of these films. I am so sorry to tell you. I am so sorry to tell you. But
Sharpay.
I really want to do like a special when we can talk about each film and
Yes.
why these characters are so weird. And I don't know how I saw these films and I was like, oh my god, this
We
is so
didn't have the
cool.
brain to think. We just saw hot girls, and for you hot guys,
And
and
Zac
and
Efron.
music, and
And Zac
everybody's
Efron
always talking
talking
at
at
me,
me.
and that's it. And but yeah, she was offering like scholarship all the way, and he was like, eh. Anyway, going back to Karate
The
Kid 3 to
Karate Kid.
finalize. Yeah,
Yeah.
she accepted the job as a dancer. That was her dream. In this movie, she explained that her dream was to actually dance for a big company, and she got
Yes.
that. And
She
then we
got it.
see that being explored in Cobra Kai season 3. In our opinion, the best episode of that
Yes.
season, and we agreed with Spider Popo. That is the best episode of
I
Cobra
agree.
Kai.
hmm
When he goes back to Okinawa.
And you
Uh,
know what? I think it's the episode that really opened the door to any character coming back and them
yes.
having it work. Any character.
hmm
Another thing that I have to mention before, because now we are transitioning into the revamp sequel and the remake. So this is kind of the end for the Karate Kid original, uh, movies. What I liked about each film was the fact that all of the films happen right one after the other. So, Danny wins the tournament that same night.
Yes.
They go to
Mm-mm-mm.
Okinawa, and then this one, I believe it starts when they actually come back from Okinawa, that the mom picks him up at the airport. So I
Yeah.
think that I think that's something that's really cool because it does make it seem that a lot happens, but it happens in the same span of time, like in a year, I think.
Within a year, everything happens between Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3 happens in storyline within a year. The movies came out like 84, 86, and 89, but the storyline was actually within a year. Yep. Everything that happened was on the 3 movies within a year. Yes. So that was the best thing about these movies. Anyway, just to end it, it wasn't the best movie, but you could literally, depict everything that you wanted. The bad guy of this movie, like the kid that needed to fight him in the tournament, he was badass. But I think Chosen in Karate Kid 2 was a worse but more badass in terms of that. Best villain.
Should we rank the villains? Of 1, 2, and 3?
That also would have been cool. Yeah, we should do that. But actually, we should rank them in the entire Karate Kid movies.
In the entire one?
Yes. Okay, because I know you said the original ones, but the next Karate Kid actually is part of that story. Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, and Terry Silver.
Yes.
He actually is the baddest sensei that I've seen. In terms of how psycho he is. And he's a badass. And he's like, oh my gosh, this guy will rip your head off if he gets the chance.
He's a psycho. That's his psycho. He's a
psycho. That's it for Karate Kid 1, 2, and 3. Now we're going to jump to the next Karate Kid movie, which is the next Karate Kid. By the way, if you guys don't know, today my name is Quiet Sensei.
And I'm Ashley's son. Yes, Sensei.
And Ashley's son. And
Ashley's son.
Okay.
Yes, Sensei.
Give me 20.
Yes, Sensei.
Right? No mercy. Strike first. All right.
This should be you're Quiet Sensei, aka Snake.
AKA Snake. AKA Quiet Sensei, AKA Solid
Snake. Exactly.
Hudson River. All right. So what do we got here, Ash? The next Karate Kid.
So the next Karate Kid was the next installment that came out from the Karate Kid series. It came out in 1994. That was 2 years after I was born.
Oh, yeah. Me too. Hey, me too.
Oh, yeah. Us.
Hello.
We
oh, my gosh. Thank you.
Oh, my God.
Of course. Thank you.
And this film is a revamp sequel where we see Miyagi train his new student, Julie Pierce, who was portrayed by the wonderful, I think she's wonderful.
She's wonderful.
Hilary Swank. The only fun fact, I only have 2 fun facts about this film. It's the fact that this film was...
There could be more, but it's more like in terms of like research that it's already there. But
the only obvious thing that I can say is that this is the first film to not feature Ralph Macchio, and that is because... Machio. Sorry. And that, like a mochaccino.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah. And that is because I think he said in an interview that he didn't want to continue with the Karate Kid series because he was afraid that he was going to get pinned, like what happened to Sylvester Stallone, that he kept doing Rocky films. And
yeah, but he still did. He still got pinned.
I know, but he was saying it in the fact that Rocky was doing sequel, and as we all know, most of the sequels that came out of Rocky didn't work as well as the Karate Kid, because the Karate Kid had a great film. It had the best film, which is the second one, and then I think it only had like one film that was bad, but then Rocky 5 came around.
I mean, I disagree with Rocky in that aspect, because the only bad film of Rocky, literally, to me, was 5. Rocky 5 was the worst, and we can do another Rocky episode, guys. If you want us to do a Rocky series,
I have the box set.
We have the box set, and we can watch Creed 1 and 2. But we're going to do just Rockies. But the worst Rocky was with the 5th. So, but I disagree on you with that one. But continue.
Yeah, but I think he basically said that he didn't want to be pinned as, the Karate Kid, but that's what happened anyways. And the only other fun fact that I have is that this film was both a critical and commercial failure. So it didn't do well in the aspects.
Yes. So so I'll start this one off. What I think about this movie. I think that this movie was, it wasn't great. It was good. I liked it. I mean, I really liked this movie because the he hasn't seen this movie. You haven't seen, you got to watch it.
Wow, it's on
Rocky Six
Netflix.
was the worst. No, bro. No, bro.
No,
Rocky, si tú vela otra vez, watch the movie again,
it
hear
was
the
a five.
story, see the illogical crap that happens in that movie, and you'll change your mind, bro.
That's the one where he has this. That's the one where he fights at the end in the street,
In the
right?
street, and he
Yeah,
loses
I hate
everything
that
out of
one.
nowhere.
It's
That's the
horrible.
worst,
That's the
bro.
worst
That's the
one.
worst
See.
movie,
Mm-hmm.
honestly. Anyway, yeah, I like this movie because one, if this movie was meant to still be with Ralph Macchio, it's
Mm-hmm.
fine. I didn't need him in this
Mm-hmm.
movie, and the fact that they actually brought a girl was actually kind of a good side to see and a good way to understand, you know, in the sense of how you training a girl and trying to treat her like a guy cannot happen. You need to have different patience, different mindset, and understand the needs that a woman would have an opposite to a guy's. And against Tommy Morrison, yeah, that one sucked.
Yeah, it was
And
horrible.
you know, the difference between you training a guy and a girl, and the story unfolds as he is going back to Boston. He's going to Boston because they're celebrating, and there's a ceremony about the veterans on World War II and
Mm-hmm.
Vietnam that served and got awarded the Medal of Valor,
Mm-hmm.
which is the one that we see in, I believe it was on Karate Kid 3 that
Yeah.
we see Danny put in a portrait. I think it
Mm-hmm.
was.
Yeah,
Um,
he made a little like
yeah.
wall decoration for it, so he can put it on the wall.
Yes. And yeah, exactly. And Robert read my mind. And karate in this case, instead of helping like Danny, helping him overcome his fears of bullies, karate actually helped Julie to, you know, overcome the depression, the anger that she had by not
Mm-hmm.
having her parents,
Yeah.
and also dealing with certain bullies and psychos in the school that she had to deal with. Not so much, but she had to deal with grief because
Mm-hmm.
of the loss of her parents. So that was another good take on how karate and this martial art, this practice,
Mm-hmm.
can help you meditate, can help you, you know, relax and learn. And we see it throughout how she meets this guy in school. She has these bullies. Now she likes the guy. I forgot his name. And she, the only person that she has to talk to is an eagle that she's hiding above her school.
Angel.
Angel.
Mm-hmm.
But when Miyagi comes, you can literally see how Miyagi's like overwhelmed with this girl that's like, this anger comes out of nowhere. It's like,
Yeah.
whoa. But what I didn't see when I was young that I saw now was understanding this purpose of why did it change? Why was it a girl? And I understood why now, and how he stayed there for a month, and they didn't dismiss Danny's son. They didn't dismiss Danny LaRusso. He
Mm-hmm.
actually says in the film, there was a moment where she was almost run over by a car.
Yeah.
She actually jumps and stands on the car. It's the tiger position, as he
Mm-hmm.
explained. He asked him, "Where did you learn that?" And she said, "My father taught me." And Mr. Miyagi explained that her grandfather taught her father, which her grandfather served in the Vietnam War, in the
Mm-hmm.
World War II with Mr. Miyagi. So
Yeah.
it went past the generations.
Mm-hmm.
Miyagi to the grandfather to the father, and the father to Julie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but she needed to relearn this. She needed to understand what this actually meant. So that's why in this movie, it's taught differently, and you see different ways that this can affect and it can help another human being.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoyed this movie a lot more. Now, the bullies and the villain of this movie, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't understand how the school needed all this. And I
Me
guess
neither.
because the bullies in this school is a like a club or like a hall monitor type of society in that, not society, group in the school that was hired, like very militant, the guy that actually teaches these people how to behave, and the no mercy rule that we always hear in every single movie. And it's about like 20 dudes, but the actual main characters of the um of of this group, one of them is very famous right now. And actually, let me look that one up. Karate Kid 4. I'll tell you the guy's name right now. But where is it? Where is it? Okay, here we go. Well, Michael Cavalier, he was the main dude. His name was Ned. He didn't do anything. Like I don't remember him from doing anything. But the one famous guy from the Bullies, his name is Walton Goggins, and in the movie, his name is Charlie. You guys have seen him in a bunch of movies. Look him up. He's great. And Michael Ironside, which is Colonel Dugan. You've definitely seen him in a bunch of stuff. And he, for those who don't know, he's actually the voice of Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. For those who didn't know, of the video game, he's the voice of Sam Fisher in Splinter Cell. So, overall, not to keep dangling on this, I freaking love the movie, the essence and the learnings, and when they go to the temple where they teach, if nature is not doing anything to you, you should respect nature, respect life, respect everything around you. And that was a moment where she was about to kill a cockroach, but the cockroach was just being. And her redemption was getting I believe we call him
grasshopper.
No, it wasn't a grasshopper. If you guys know the insect that has the big eyes, please let us know. He's green. He looks like a leaf. Let me see. Famous green insect.
Because I know in Puerto Rico there's one that we call Esperanza, but I don't know if it's that.
Es una esperanza. Yes, una esperanza.
I don't know how you say that in English.
I don't know. Mantis. A mantis.
Mantis. Okay.
It's the mantis. Yeah, it's a mantis. Where, and that's funny because esperanza en español, and mantis in English, but that actually symbolized hope for her. So when she brought the mantis to the monk and he placed it in the tree, it was hope for her to actually overcome her grief and everything. And that's how she learned in the temple how to, overcome all those things and be better at it and have more patience, be more unison with her soul, with her mind, and feel at peace. So, and her famous kick was pretty much a flying sidekick. So it was meditate and jump up and fly.
Yeah, she had to be in a rock. The rock was Okinawa, and she had to jump to Japan, I think it was, or to China, I think it was.
Yeah, Japan and jump to Okinawa.
Okay.
I think it was Japan and on jump to Okinawa. The big rock was Japan. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
for
great.
me, I like this film. I don't think it's the strongest Karate Kid film, but I think that's partly due to the bullies in this film. I didn't find them. It's not that I didn't find them necessary. I just didn't understand what this group of students had to do with the school per se. I know you told me there were some type of hall monitors, but I've never seen hall monitors to that extent, especially.
I mean, we've never been to every state. That's the only way I could accept it, guys. I've never been to other places where this is like that. And again, it could be that these things might have happened. This might have happened like that because in Boston, maybe like the location was Boston. So maybe in Boston, there's a school that actually does that.
Yeah. But for me, especially the leader of the group, the
Colonel Dugan.
Yeah, because he was in the school and I remember asking you, I was like, is there nobody there to stop him and say like, hey, this is wrong. These are our students and blah, blah. So I think that's the only part that I didn't necessarily like from this film. I just didn't understand what they were coming from and what their purpose was in terms, it just felt that they were just put there so she could have a motive to learn karate, to defend herself in a way, and then they use that motivation of her to defend herself from those bullies to incorporate the whole karate learning and then all the lessons that she learns, etc., which I thought it was fine. But I thought this movie was pretty sweet. I loved the interaction between her and Mr. Miyagi, and it was fun to see another side of him because we are so accustomed to see him with Danny LaRusso, who's a boy. And it's like I remember watching this film and I looked at you and I was like, it's just different with girls. It's different with girls.
Different, man. It was beautiful. Honestly, it was
yeah,
great.
And this is why I picked this picture, because this scene for me was one of my favorite scenes.
That literally is the movie. That's the movie. Right
he's teaching her how to dance using karate. The punches at first.
Forward.
And I think another thing that affects this film is the fact that I've never understood why, but a lot of people don't like Hilary Swank as an actress.
I don't get it
either. And I don't get it either. All of the work that I've seen from her is spectacular. And the last thing that I want to say is that I've heard rumors that she might come back to Cobra Kai. She might make an appearance, and I would love to see her in Cobra Kai season 4 or 5 or 10, depending on their plans.
I think it's going to be season 5, maybe season 5.
But
if it's season 4, that'd be surprising.
I think it would be season 5. I think it would be freaking cool if Terry and Julie both come back in the same season.
Ooh, bruh.
So I would like to see her. It would make sense. Hilary Swank has had a lot of projects with Netflix lately, including a TV show. So I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere she'll make an appearance. But I would love to see her incorporated into Cobra Kai. I don't hate this film. I think it was okay. I'm okay with it. It follows the story nicely, and it sticks to what the Karate Kid is, which is learning karate for the right reason. So
yeah. And before we jump into it, I just wanted to hit one fact, or for one of the things that you said, that you think the bullies were there for her purpose. I think, again, as Robert mentioned, I think the reason for her to learn karate was more for her to learn how to grieve.
Yeah.
Because as the story says, and as Miyagi is speaking, she learns karate for that reason. She doesn't learn karate to fight. The only reason why she fights is because her lover, the boyfriend, is actually in trouble, and she gets to that point where she has to defend him. Because he knows the right way, as her boyfriend learned from a madman that doesn't channel the right chi and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So because the boyfriend was there, and the bullies were there to actually crush on the boyfriend, crush the boyfriend. But I guess every show needs a villain, or almost every movie needs a villain. So I guess yes and no. So, but
I just wish in a way that they were more established, because it gets to the point where you really don't understand what's going on with these guys. So that's the only thing.
So yeah, guys. So now we're gonna jump into one movie that came out about 16 years after. It is a complete remake of the Karate Kid, but there are some fun facts that Ash is also going to mention. And it honestly was one of the greatest movies of the Karate Kid series. But we're going to talk about the Karate Kid of 2010.
Mr.
Han. That includes Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith. Take it away, Ash.
Yes. So this film came out in 2010. That was 11 years ago. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. And it is a remake of the original with Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, like you mentioned. I have a lot of fun facts about this film because...
Throw it out there.
One of the differences between this film and the Karate Kid, the original Karate Kid film, is that this is set in China instead of California / using Okinawa in a sequel, etc. And the interesting aspect about this film is that despite the title, this film in China is actually known as the Kung Fu Dream. This is due to the fact that the technique that is instructed in the film by Jackie Chan's character, it is actually Kung Fu. It is not karate.
Not karate.
So what happened here was that Sony wanted to change the title to the Kung Fu Dream, but one of the producers of the film rejected the idea. And I think this happened because people were so used to knowing the Karate Kid. I think there was a fear of the company not wanting to name it the Kung Fu Dream because maybe it doesn't sound as catchy as the Karate Kid, or people weren't going to see it because they can't associate it with the Karate Kid. So I think based on that fact, I think that's why a lot of people don't like this film, because I've heard that a lot of people, they don't like this remake. They don't like it at all. But if you guys go to China and you rent this film, or you went in 2010 to see this film, the title of this film is The Kung Fu Dream over there. It's not The Karate Kid. This film was produced by Will and Jada Pinkett Smith, and it was done in order to launch their son Jaden Smith's acting career. And another peculiar fact is that thanks to this film, we actually have Cobra Kai, because Will Smith initially had planned various sequels to this film, but he eventually scrapped the idea and went on to produce a series with his wife. And as we all know, Cobra Kai is in its third season, and it turned out to be a worldwide success. So,
hey, cultura secuencial. ¿Cómo estamos?
For being here. ¿Qué es la que hay?
How you doing, man? ¿Cómo estamos aquí? Speaking about not the Cobra Kai, but speaking of the Karate Kid.
Yes.
All movies, ya todas las películas ya las hemos presentado y estamos in the fifth installment aquí ahora mismo.
Mr. Han,
Hueva, Ultra Animator. No, me encanta ese background, honestly. Ese background de Ultra Animator está bien gufiado. I really love it. Join the conversation.
Yes.
We're here, speaking of the Karate Kid.
Raid, yes.
Yes.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you, guys.
Todos los que están aquí. Estamos hablando de The Karate Kid, de todas las películas. Ya hemos hablado de las primeras 3, el sequel con Hilary Swank, y ahora estamos hablando de la película con Jackie Chan, que salió en el 2010. Que se conoce como The Karate Kid, pero it is actually the Kung Fu Dream, because
the Kung Fu Dream.
He teaches Kung Fu, not karate.
Exactly.
So thanks to this film, this is why we have Cobra Kai. So
yeah, thanks to this film is where we have Cobra Kai. Así que, mi gente, first off, for those who just joined, today, instead of my name being John Rosado, my name is Quiet Sensei. For those who don't know it, we got Ashley San right here.
Yes, Sensei.
It's because Johnny Lawrence is my favorite character.
And I love Miguel. That's why.
I love Miguel. Miguel is right there. Yes, Sensei.
I love Miguel. Yeah, but Miguel. Thank you to everyone who has joined us in this Karate Kai special here at the Legacy Universe. Thank you for being here. We are so appreciative of you guys.
So here's the thing. A lot of people, mucha gente, don't like this film, and I think the people that don't like this film are the majority are people that grew up with the original Karate Kid, and I completely understand their feelings. I completely understand this, like, to 100%. But guys, what you have to understand, and how I see it, is if you grew up watching the first Karate Kid, if you grew up around the 80s, you're going to say the Karate Kid was the thing, was the shit. It was boom. It was the greatest thing that happened to karate at that moment. And that's that generation. But for those who didn't watch Karate Kid, for the times that the Karate Kid was forgotten, that's why the Kung Fu Dream came in, the Karate Kid from 2010 from Jaden Smith.
Yeah.
And Jackie Chan. And this movie was the boom for a lot of kids that got into martial arts, that were in martial arts, that wanted to know about this story. And I'm not going to lie, this story to the T has a lot of similarities. That's why it's the remake. This is a remake, but in China. With Kung Fu, not karate. It was a remake with Kung Fu. So I freaking love this movie. This movie, I freaking love it more. And you guys see when we start ranking, because we're after this movie, vamos a empezar a rankear las películas, and you're going to see Ashley's list, y van a ver mi lista of the rankings of the Karate Kid movies. But this movie, I love it so much because, one, the acting performances, they were fantastic. Every single character in this story portrays something so deep and so hard and so
Mhm.
menacing. And I'm gonna start off from like the back to the front. I'm gonna
Mhm.
start off with the kid villains. These kids,
Ese
these
nene.
kids, especially the main kid.
Oh my
Um,
God.
I think his name is Shui. I think it's his Shui. Or like these kids were
That little
so
kid was
menacing. Like what
you look at
the
that
heck?
little kid and you know he was a villain, mano. It was like
Yeah,
it was
bro.
crazy. It was
Let me see.
crazy.
The Karate Kid of 2000
2010.
of 2010. Like first, those kids were menacing as hell. Like Chang. Oh no, here we go. It's Chang. All right, so
Chang.
here we go with the name of the kid. His name is Chang. That kid was like, oh my god, you didn't
Mhm.
want him to look at you at all. Like
Yeah.
every other kid, every other villain in every other Karate Kid movie you've seen, and they're menacing, cool. But when you would see, and guys, you really need Chang Yun, yes, Chang Yun, right?
Mhm.
So, and every other Karate Kid movie, you would see, oh, they're menacing, they're this and that. Oh, they have their skill, they have their boom. But the kung fu, the
Mhm.
evil kids, when they would beat Jaden Smith's ass, which in this movie his name is Dre, you
Wow.
would feel the pain and you would feel scared. It's
Scared.
like, oh my god, this is the first Karate Kid that you feel like they're about to kill the main character before they even finish the movie.
And you literally
It's
saw him
like,
struggling like
whoa,
to you see him struggling to like breathe air and all that stuff and you're just
yes,
like especially I think for me the scene in the basketball court, that's the one
yeah.
that was really like I was
That's the
like
very first fight.
exactly
And
and I
that's
was
the
just
very,
like,
and
"Whoa.
that's the very
Whoa."
first fight. It's worse.
Yeah.
It's the worst beating that they have gotten, that they have shown of in the Karate Kid movies prior to the main character learning the martial art. It is the worst beating that they've gotten and the
Yeah.
most emotional one. It's like, whoa. And then you see Jaden Smith, man, uh, his acting was
He's fantastic.
he's fantastic, bro. As since Pursuit of Happiness, since I saw him in Pursuit of Happiness, it's like this kid is a Padawan. And his
Yes.
father is a Jedi Master, Will Smith, bro.
Will Smith.
Like he learned from the best.
Mhm.
And so best worst guy, like the movie, yes, the kid, the worst villain, that's the kid. Secondly, the
Mhm.
sensei, which is Mr. Han.
Mr. Han,
I am
Jackie Chan,
pleased
and
for
all
those
that.
who love Pat yo
Miyagi. Miyagi,
Miyagi,
Miyagi.
Miyagi.
Yeah.
For those who love Miyagi, I am so sorry. Miyagi is great. Miyagi is super iconic. Miyagi is fabulous. He's wonderful. He's sweet. He's like the greatest old man that you would want as your grandfather and as super sensei. But let me tell you something. He would not beat Mr. Han, Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan.
The way that they showed how a sensei should move and the proof of how a sensei learns this martial arts and how good they could be. This movie showed how Jackie Chan, Mr. Han, has the ability of the kung fu and has the right to teach the martial art. In the scene where Jaden Dre is actually threw like the dirty water at the kids, at the bullies,
Mhm,
and they
mhm,
are
mhm.
chasing him all the way down back to the hotel, which is where they live, like the motel. And when they are about to fight and they're beating him up again, another beating that you're like, whoa. And then you can tell that 2010 Karate Kid, the Kung Fu Dream, Cobra Kai took elements of how it feels in that sense.
Yeah,
So when you
yeah.
see the scene they're getting beat up and all that, it's elements from 2010 Kung Fu Dream.
Mhm.
Hence, Will Smith has been producer for both this movie and the
Yeah,
Karate and the Cobra Kai TV shows.
Mr.
So
Han, mira
yeah,
yang Mr.
Han,
Han,
yes,
Mr. Han, Mr. Han.
Han.
I
So
yeah, 'cause
Mr.
I
Han is
think
uh,
I think Will Smith and Jada, they both produced Cobra Kai season 1 and 2, and I think by season 3 it's only Will Smith, if I'm
yes,
not mistaken. So,
yes, and so yes, Mr. Han is the best sensei in terms of the ability, and
mhm,
then his acting in this movie as well was
mhm.
fantastic. Jackie Chan's performance in this movie was proof that he's not just a martial artist and just an
Yeah.
action star. He is a very good
And
dramatic actor, and
yeah,
there's other movies after this one that he showed that ability.
I was
And
gonna say, what was we saw a film with him. It's on Netflix, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's called The Foreigner.
The
Do
Foreigner,
you remember
and then
that?
I want to go home. That's the scene when
That
when
scene
he's
was
crying.
great. That
Yeah,
scene was great.
but yes, the
But
Foreigner. That's
The Foreigner, if you guys haven't seen that movie,
from
check it
Jackie
out on
Chan.
Netflix.
He's
It's
Bronson.
with Jackie Chan, and Jackie Chan is incredible in that film.
Yeah,
And it's not a bad movie. It's actually it's a very good film, but he
yeah.
is insanely good in that film. So
So and you see the ability that he has when he's actually crying, and you see in this story of how he lost his family.
mhm,
Instead of, in the previous one, Mr. Miyagi actually lost his family while his wife was giving birth, and there weren't enough doctors to actually take care of the situation that it was happening to her while he was in a war in World War II.
mhm,
But here, it was a car crash that was produced throughout a fight that they were having, a discussion. They were yelling at each other in the car, and it was raining, so he lost control. He
mhm,
wrecked the car, and his son and his wife died.
mhm.
And the story behind the car that is in the living room is that that's the car. He rebuilds it every year, and he destroys it in the
In
anniversary of
June
their
8th.
death.
June 8th. That's the
In June
anniversary.
8th, that's the anniversary of the death of his family. So he destroys
Yeah.
the car every single year as he builds it up every single year.
Mhm.
Because, as he says, I build the car, I destroy it, and I still can't fix anything because
Exactly.
it was his fault that his family died. That's his thing. That scene was so
Mhm.
freaking fucking powerful.
That's my favorite scene,
That's
and
my favorite scene.
I have to say that I went to see this film at the theater when it came out in 2010, and I remember thinking, Jackie, because I grew up with Jackie Chan, but all of the things that I had seen Jackie Chan do was more martial arts, and I remember that from martial arts, he did Rush Hour, which is one of my favorite
Comedy.
films.
Yes,
He
he
did
did.
comedy.
Shanghai
He was
Noon, Rush
Yeah,
Hour, yes.
he was on a
Drunken
streak of
Master.
doing more comedic things, and I I haven't seen that film. Have I seen it?
I don't think so. I don't think so. You
I
have
don't think
seen
I've
it.
seen it. I don't
He's
think
like,
I've seen that one.
ah.
No, I don't think I've
He's
seen
great.
that one.
No,
You
he's a
gotta
drunk.
watch it.
You haven't seen it. You haven't seen it. I'll show
No,
you. It's
I haven't
great.
seen it at all.
It's all about martial arts. Trust me. His first movies was all about kicking ass, taking
Yeah,
names.
yeah, yeah.
Like he was like the quiet sensei. He was
Exactly.
that guy. He was
But
the monkey king right there.
yeah, so I was accustomed to see Jackie Chan, fighting, but I had
Hmm.
never seen and being funny. But this was the first movie that I saw his dramatic side, and I remember that I was in the theater, and that scene specifically, the one in the car where he's recalling the accident, and he holds the collection of pictures of his wife and his son. It's a brilliant scene.
Yeah.
I remember it blew me away when I saw it in 2010, and I hadn't seen this film since 2010. I saw it in the movies and I never saw it again. And
Hmm.
seeing it last night, because we saw it last night, I
Yeah.
was so blown away in the same parts that I was blown away in the movie theater, which for
Yeah.
me was
And
hard.
and
So,
then you see how, first off, the kid, the protagonist, is not 18 years old. He's not 17. He's a 12-year-old.
mhm.
And you see how this is affecting a 12-year-old because his father left them. They have no father, and they
Well,
never
his father
speak of him.
died. His
Sorry,
father
his father
died.
died. They
Yeah.
never speak of him after that. And it's just like every other movie of Karate Kid, which is this is a great example. He becomes his best friend.
Mhm.
And you can see how Dre gets out of the car, picks up the bamboo, training bamboos that have the rope, and fishes him out of the car with putting the
Yeah.
ropes between his hands. And he just doesn't speak. He doesn't speak. That's the best part. He doesn't speak. He takes him out
Mhm.
of the car. He lures him out, and with his motion, he says, "Shake it off. Let's train." While Mr. Han told him, "We're not going to train today. This is the anniversary," but he said,
Yeah.
"No, you
Mhm.
need the distraction. Let's go at it."
I mean,
and
they
let's
both
do this.
they both
Boom. They
needed it
both
because
needed the distraction because yes,
wasn't that the day that he went to the audition with the girl?
yes, and the girl, that was another character that actually played well. She was
He's
sweet.
so cute.
She was so sweet, and actually, that's a better love story. That's the best love story of all the Karate Kids, in my opinion, honestly, because it's cute.
Really?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. One,
That's all
because
I said.
yes, I'll tell you because one, it's very young, it's very cute, it's very
Mhm,
unique. You don't see um old love or old grudges from things that have happened in the past. The grudge
mhm,
that this guy has with him is because one, Dre is a foreigner. Two, he looks completely different, and three,
mhm.
he's close to the daughter of because their parents, like Dre, not Dre, sorry, let me get their names. Cheng and Mei Ying. So
Yeah, they're
their
close.
parents are close, so they
Mhm,
know each other because of their parents.
mhm,
And he's just overprotected, and he might like the girl, but the girl doesn't want to be with him. But you don't see
mhm,
this. You don't see this love triangle. It's more of a focus, one a vision for the girl,
mhm,
and the kid is just being a dick. So because she's so straightforward and she's so sweet and
mhm.
and filled with hopes and wanting to become better at her dreams, and him trying to help her out to you also need to get out, to relax, and so you can hit the pauses, and he goes, hit
Yeah.
the pauses. It was funny.
He's trying to be smooth, that kid.
Yes. So
Um,
yeah, anyway, sorry,
I
before
mean,
before huh.
no, keep going.
Yeah, so I okay, you
Finish
can
your
no,
thoughts.
you can end this so I can go now to Jaden, because I was going to speak about Jaden.
Oh no, I just wanted to say that for me, Jackie Chan was a good decision at Mr. Miyagi's success. Yes, I
Mr.
agree. Mr.
As a,
Miyagi.
as a
I think that
Miyagi's successor, yes.
Miyagi.
Yes,
Yes,
definitely.
I agree with that comment. I have to say that I liked I understand where you're coming from with the love story of this film.
Yeah, because the other women were like forward and were like,
But for me,
bro,
but
like,
oof,
leave them
no,
alone.
for me, the love story of Karate Kid 2 is by far the best one.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
No, you said it already, and
I
you said it
forgot
live.
about it.
You can't take
No,
it
I
back.
am so sorry. Second one. Number two.
You
Number
can't take
two.
it back.
No,
Nope.
I take it back. Please, please let me take it
Nope.
back. But I stand by what I said in terms of why I love it so much.
Take it
I
back.
completely forgot about Kumiko. Sorry.
There
We've been,
you.
we've
We've
been,
been talking about it
we've
for
been in this stream for like a while. I'm gonna forget some stuff. Please cut me some slack. I'm sorry. No,
Okay.
Kumiko
So,
number one,
uh,
then Mei Ying, then Mei
I
Ying.
should
Kumiko number one, then Mei Ying. Sorry.
I should have said nothing, man. Like,
But okay, no, sorry. That was my fault. Yes. No, you're right. You're right completely. Now, last thing.
yeah.
Let me jump into the main character,
Mhm.
Dre, Jaden Smith. His acting is super great. As a young kid,
He looks so cute in this
he looks
film.
so cute.
He's so cute.
He's great in this movie. His emotions are on point.
Mhm.
His comedic timing is on point.
And
It
his
was not,
dancing is
and his
fantastic, bro.
dancing is fantastic. His kung
Like,
fu is fantastic. Like
oh my god, can I say it when he kicks,
mm-hmm.
I can't do half of that. So I was like,
Yeah, and
wow.
here's the
Okay.
thing. Every time I saw a Karate Kid, I was always inspired. And I took karate when I was super young, and then I trained on my own on certain things in martial arts outside. But the that's why I love this movie even more, because even the original Karate Kid,
Mhm.
not that he didn't train, but you could see in this film the true essence of being trained by a sensei, by a master, and the training that pays off within all of this hard work.
Yeah.
You saw it in Jaden. You saw it in Dre. You saw his training, and you could tell by the end of the film, and even with practicality, how he does the split, how he moves fast. His
Mhm.
training was super practical. But again, it's a different type of martial art. It's not karate, it's kung fu. Kung fu
Yeah.
is trained differently.
Mhm.
And kung fu is essentially almost a mix of different arts together, but it's primarily kung fu.
Yeah.
Um, and that's why I loved Jaden. a lot Dre, this character, because you could tell that if here's the truth. Here's the fact.
Mm-hmm.
If you put Dre against 18-year-old Dre against Ralph DiMaggio's Danny Son, I think Dre would win. I really think Dre would win. If you guys disagree with me, who would win in a fight?
Who would win in a fight?
Or Danny Son?
Drop it in the comments.
Shout Dre. Oh, would Shout Dre win?
Shout Dre.
Little Dre. Would Shout Dre win in a fight, or would Danny Son win in a fight? You guys let me know in the comments below, and I'm gonna put it there once we end. But let us know.
I think Dre might win, man.
Dre will win, bro, because you can tell
he's got that spark. He's got that.
The fight, the way they fight is completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's completely different, and it's and I think he would even beat Johnny at an 18-year-old.
Oh, like,
Johnny, if and
I think anybody can beat Johnny, because let's face it, Cobra Kai.
No, not like that.
Mano, Cobra Kai is like.
I remember Johnny was the champion before.
Cobra Kai is like mucho.
Danny as well.
Y mucho fronte ahí, mucho fronte ahí.
I knew it.
Wrong.
I knew he was gonna say that.
Papi,
I knew it.
No, papi, karate kid all the way.
Okay,
papá.
Okay, Robert.
Quiet.
No, quiet. Wrong, quiet. Say Danny wins. Okay, I disagree. Who else says Danny wins? I disagree. I think Shout Dre wins. Shout Dre wins. But here we go. But yeah, to end it all, to end this real quick and jump into our rankings. This movie was great, and it did what it had to do. It brought a new generation to the Karate Kid fandom. Exactly. And thanks to this movie, that's why, like, not because of the Karate Kid story per se, but thanks to this movie, the Kung Fu Dream, the Karate Kid was the push to create Cobra Kai as like back of the house at producing, writing, inspiration. This movie actually provoked Cobra Kai, and then they used the Karate Kid originals to follow up with the story within it. Now, I am not sure, but because it's the same producers, there could be a possibility now that these are not in the talks at all, but because it's the same producer and this, Will Smith, there might be an appearance along the way, along the very long way, or maybe never happens. Maybe Jaden? Jackie Chan or Jaden. Who knows? I don't know. It is directly supposed to be a remake, but remember, that could also be trumped down because one is in China and one is in California and Japan. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen, but it would be cool.
I mean, it could, but at the same time, there's no mention of Miyagi or Danny LaRusso.
Miyagi,
No.
What are you talking about?
In the Karate Kid?
Oh, you mean on this one? 2010? No, I know. I know. There's because they don't know each other at all. But I'm saying there could be just like them walking on the street and I mean, I don't know how they would tie it in. Of course, if they want to tie this in, they have to create a good story and a good reason for this to be happening. I'm not saying that it will, but they need to create something really good for this to actually happen. And at that point, it won't be the young Karate Kid. Like it will be more adulthood type of thing. But anyway. That's what we think. Anything else you want to say of the Kung Fu Dream? Oh, sorry, the fights. I want to talk about the fights.
Damn,
the fights were more intense in this movie.
Yeah,
the fights were extremely intense. So I just want to say that there was a lot of kicking ass in this movie. But anyway, anything else?
I just wanted to say that for me, even though I can understand where people are coming from in terms of them not liking the film so much, because it does borrow some elements from the Karate Kid. Not some, a lot. It just twists it. It changes it. It twerks it here and there, so it doesn't. I mean, not twerks it. It can't twerk it. It tweets it. You wanna
twerk it? You want to twerk it?
It tweaks it here and there so that it adapts into Dre's situation. And
Correct.
I can understand where people can watch this film and be like, this is not the Karate Kid, but it's essentially not. It's essentially not.
It's
And
not. It's a kung fu dream, guys.
for me personally, like I said at the beginning, this was my first experience with the Karate Kid. I had never seen the original ones. And I think that this film was made for a new generation of Karate Kid fans because for me, I grew up with Jackie Chan. So he's the reason why I went to see this film. And then we have the original Karate Kid where we have Mr. Miyagi, who was a lot of people's favorite sensei, or him and Danny are the Karate Kid. So this is how I see this film. I don't think this is a bad film. Again, like you mentioned,
Great film.
I think both Jaden and Jackie have great chemistry, and Jackie Chan really blew me away in this film. I was not expecting him to be such a great dramatic actor. I really like the fight sequences in this one, and I like that even though it's riding on the Karate Kid, it's a different story in a way. It's a different technique. You explore different areas, and it's an entirely new location. And because of Jaden Smith being the protagonist of this film, it will speak to different generations of people to see themselves represented in this film with Jaden Smith. So
yeah, definitely.
That's what I have to say. I really like this film. I liked it the first time that I saw it in 2010 in the theaters, and I liked it yesterday when I saw it again after so many years.
What was it? Jackie Chan, like Tom Cruise, not use stunt. Oh, they don't use stunt doubles. No, like Jackie Chan. Oh man.
Jackie Chan is cooler. I said
it. All right, guys. So we are going to jump to the last section of the stream, which is ranking all the Karate Kid films. All right, so we're going to start off with Ash. Ash, what is the ranking? Now, guys, put in your rankings. Which Karate Kid films from 1 through 5? We got Karate Kid 1, we got Karate Kid 2, 3, we got the next Karate Kid, and then we got the 2010 Karate Kid / the actual name, The Kung Fu Dream.
I think we have a few in the comments. So I know Spider Popo left his, and I think my dad left his as well.
Yeah. So we got here. Let's put it on. Let's put it. Spider Popo said Karate Kid 2 is his first. Karate Kid 1 is his second. Karate Kid 3 is his third. No pun intended there, right? Karate Kid 4 is his. Karate Kid 5 is his fifth, and Karate Kid 4 is his fifth. So
the Hilary Swank one is his least favorite.
Yeah. So Karate Kid 5. This for those who just joined us, thank you for joining. Karate Kid 5. That is the Kung Fu Dream, which is the Karate Kid movie that came in 2010 from Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith. That's Spider Popo's. Thank you for doing your rankings, and then we got right here. We got Robert Martinez. Agree with Ashley's son. For me, it's. If you want to read it, Ash.
Oh, I have a screen open. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I'll do it. So for him, it's I'll do it for you. Don't worry. For him is Karate Kid 2, Robert's first. Karate Kid 1 is his second. The next Karate Kid is the third one for him. The Karate Kid / the Kung Fu Dream, Jaden Smith and Jackie Chan, is his fourth, and the Karate Kid 3 is his last. Thank you for sharing. Very interesting. But we got similar ones with Spider Popo and Robert Martinez as well. The first two are actually similar. Karate Kid 2.
I think all of our lists are kind of similar. They just it's just between the movies that we shuffle them kind of along the way. But
yes.
Here
we go.
Do I see it? Wait, I'm trying to look at the screen. There we go.
There you go.
This is my ranking. So in first place for me is The Karate Kid 2. I already said that this is my favorite film. I loved how it was encompassed in season 3 of Cobra Kai. I love the love story. I love the fact that we get to see Miyagi's background, and they actually get to go to Okinawa together, and Danny gets to learn even more things in terms of the karate. And of course, I love the bad guy in this film. And
Yeah.
I love the final scene, which is literally life or death. This was not a tournament. So that is why this is my number one pick. My second one is the Karate Kid remake. This is because of Jackie Chan. Again, like I was explaining, I grew up with Jackie Chan, so I felt that this was the karate movie that was the Karate Kid movie that was made for me as a Jackie Chan fan, and I was really excited to see him in this film. Again, this is a remake that, even though it takes certain elements of the original films, it does adjust itself to a new generation of moviegoers and people who don't feel as represented with, how certain characters are portrayed in films. And I'm talking specifically about the case of Jaden Smith and Taraji. That's her name, right? Taraji P. Henson.
Yes.
Who played his mom, who are two phenomenal actors. And to have these
Oh,
two,
you mean the mom?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Taraji. Sorry.
And to have these two characters be placed in such an odd situation where they have to go to China and they have to have these experiences, I think that's why it's the second one for me. I think it's a great remake. I really like it. The third one for me is the original Karate Kid, because again, it is the base of the film. I think out of the the last two that I have on my list, it is the best one because it's what ignites the story of Danny LaRusso and Mr. Miyagi. And thanks to this, we have the base for Cobra Kai season 1 from Johnny Lawrence's point of view. Number 4 for me is the Karate Kid 3. The only amazing thing for me here was Terry Silvers. I think he was a great villain, but I think somehow along the way there was a lot of problems with the story and what they were trying to do. The Karate Kid 3 just felt for me that it was a car that was losing gas. Like they already knew what they were getting themselves into. So that's why. But that's why it's my number 4, and then my number 5. It's the next Karate Kid, because even though I loved Hilary Swank in this film, I love horror.
Hey,
sorry.
Hey,
I loved her.
Quiet.
Yes, sensei. Yes, sensei.
Yes, sensei. No mercy.
Even though I loved her chemistry with Mr. Miyagi, that father-daughter relationship, and I understood where she was coming from, for me, the bullies in this film did not work. And the story per se, it doesn't feel as important as the other ones, because the Karate Kid 3, even though it's not the best film, it still holds an importance in the Karate Kid film franchise. So that is my ranking and why I picked this order for the films. Muchas gracias.
Right. Thank you. And here we got Robert Martinez. It's more complicated to move to another country than to another state.
I agree.
Yes. Thank you. It is completely complicated to do exactly that, Robert.
Yep.
And that's a very interesting list.
We know that.
Yeah. Guys, again, thank you for joining us, whoever's here. My name today is Quiet Sensei, but my real name is John Rosado. Thank you for being here. We got Ashley's son.
I'm Ashley's son. Yes, Sensei.
Ashley Martinez.
Yes, Sensei.
Thank you for joining us. Right now, we're ranking the movies of the Karate Kid, almost ending the show.
Yes,
Ash already ranked her movies. Now I'm about to rank mine. And if you guys want to rank yours, just put out there from the 5 Karate Kid movies that came out, rank yours right there as I give you my ranking. Excuse me. So let me actually jump. Let me actually jump and start sharing
yours is going to be interesting.
Guess what?
I think yours is going to be interesting.
Yes, actually. Let me see if it's open. I think I opened it. Application, entire thing. Sorry, I think it's open. Let me see. Okay. And ding, 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 ding. Why isn't it opening? Oh, here we go. There we go.
Yay.
And done.
Boom.
Okay, so
Hmm.
this is my ranking. Nobody kill me, please. It is my ranking. All right. So, as, as I was explaining, my number one Karate Kid movie is the Kung Fu Dream, the Karate Kid remake. As I explained how much I freaking love this movie, it is a great remake to what the Karate Kid once was for the generation of the 80s, passing about like 5 different generations going up. This was a great, in my opinion, a great installment to a new generation to know about the Karate Kid. Essentially, should have been named the Kung Fu Dream, which was the Kung Fu Dream outside of the United States.
Yeah.
And what is going on? What's what?
I'm
I
scared.
with Quiet Sensei's list.
I told you. It's interesting. Let's just leave it there.
It is interesting. Yes. Now again, this is not because I don't like or hate the movies or no. This is which one I prefer the most and which one I prefer less, but still prefer. But yes, because the remake was proof of how it actually should look in a situation where there's a kid in trouble. I mean, they show that perfectly. But there's a kid in trouble that's trying to learn martial arts, and he visually sees with this prowess and with this like, oh my god, exploration of how this old man, about 40 or 50-year old, can actually kick butt the way he does and how fast he is at that age. Rather that when you see it from Mr. Miyagi, you can see that he's moving, but it's 60s karate. It's like, I mean, it's 80s karate. It looks slow. It looks, choreographed. And some parts are actually, true. You can see it. But here you can see the danger of the fights. The actual danger. You can feel it. You can feel the intensity. And the emotion was right there. It was at its high. And I really recommend you guys to see again this movie to see if you think otherwise. But this was my first because of all that. It was a great entry to a new generation of Karate Kid. The second Karate Kid for me was the Karate Kid 2. I loved this movie. It was honestly the best movie out of the originals. The main reason because one, the love story, and secondly, actually this love story is second, but the first is because there was more tension. Just like the remake, there was more tension on these movies. Azúcar. Distinguished
Sparrow. What is
Sparrow.
up?
Entrando un poquito de talecito. Un poquito de talecito.
Llegó el momento.
Pero ya tú sabes.
Vamos a ver si ponen su lista, el ranking de
rankings de las Karate Kid. Antes que te vaya, you gotta rank the Karate Kid movies.
Sí, Sparrow, ya tú sabes. Y Don Ash.
Ya tú sabes.
Ya va por ahí.
Dale,
pues, John, hay que enseñarle las mías.
Dale, yeah. So I'm gonna finish mine. So the second one is because the story is there. There is more emotions than the first one and the third one. It's true. It holds true to feelings, to the poverty of Okinawa in that moment, and the relationship between Kumiko and Daniel was perfect. The story behind Mr. Miyagi's past, the way that he learned karate, kata, was super interesting, and the villain was also a one that could kill you. His training was fight to the death, not like in the dojos of previous movies that they were trained for no mercy and to beat you up. But Sato, the sensei of Chosen, trained him to kill for the death. So that's why it was pretty interesting to me. The storms, how everything happens. I got Algebra 86. That's a controversial list, but I'll let it slide because I hate watching Daniel San fighting. Yo, you see? I told you. I know it. I told you. I explained. Yo, Aldro, I said earlier in the stream, Daniel, when he fights, he looks clunky. He looks like, oh my God. But but he fights, he fights. But when you put Dre next to him, the way that he learned Kung Fu, it's like, yo, bro, these people dedicated 6 months, which is true in the documentary. You see, they dedicated 6 months to kick ass and to showcase their talent as martial artists. And the fights are more menacing, more true to
Yeah.
how it should be. And
Wolf está más o menos igual que yo. He's kind of in the same line.
all right, we're gonna show his
Vamos
right
a ver,
now.
vamos a ver.
Déjame terminar rapidito.
Controversia.
Ya, muy rápido. The Next Karate Kid. Y voy contigo, Sparrow. Voy contigo ahora. The next Karate Kid, the Hillary Swank. The reason why I like that one a little bit more is because it actually had more than the first one, which everybody's gonna be like, what? The reason why, quiet, and it's
Yes,
the reason why I like the third one a little bit more than the next two that I'm about to say is because, again, yes, the story wasn't as heavy in terms of everything outside the main characters and it because it was a girl and how it was treated. Is because the last time I saw this movie, I was super young. I was like 10 years old, 12 years old. And then we had an entire weekend where we saw the entire Karate Kid movies. And I saw it again. And this time I had very different eyes to watch this movie. So when I saw it like, this kid is mourning, is grieving because she didn't have her parents. So it's a very different purpose on why she's learning karate than just, trying to overcome bullies and fear of getting beat up, which was kind of close to what Danny was trying to learn karate for, other than Miyagi was trying to teach him a different thing. That's why in the other movies, he says karate was, to earn your peace, and you already proved what you needed. That's why karate is not for fighting. It's more for defense and peace. So he was always fighting against Danny, you don't need to prove yourself other than the first time you did. That's it. So in this time, it was grief. It was loss. It was her parents. She had a big emptiness. And that was what Miyagi was there for her. That was the father that she was missing, and the emptiness was filled with Miyagi and karate, and the way he learned how to treat a girl as a child, because he never had a girl as a child or a student as a girl. It was precious in the way that it was shown. So to me, it just hit home for me very differently the way that I saw that movie. So number 3, that was for me. Karate Kid 4. Karate Kid 4 was great. And the reason why I don't have it as my first Karate Kid is because I wasn't born in the 80s. I have a chance to watch a whole marathon of different karates. So because I didn't grow up with it, even though I saw it an entire weekend, we're fresh. We're completely fresh on Karate Kid.
We saw it
this weekend.
We saw 3 on Saturday, and then we saw 1 on Sunday, and then yesterday we saw the Kung Fu Dream.
Yes, the Kung Fu Dream, which is the Jaden and Jackie remake. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the Karate Kid was a great movie, and it was inspirational, and it was like the Rocky movie where Rocky was a boom, and it was the first boxing movie that could showcase how hard life is in that world. And that's the same thing with karate, with this young kid trying to learn for the reasons that he was trying to learn karate. And it was inspirational. It was the very first one that showcases this. It was the heart and the engine that started all these karate phases and all these karate movies. And Cobra Kai. But again, Cobra Kai, in terms of production, it was made because of the remake, the Karate Kid, the Kung Fu Dream. If it wasn't for the Karate Kid remake of Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith, there would be no Cobra Kai. And that's counterintuitive because it doesn't have to do with the characters in that movie. It jumps back to the original ones. But it's just because Will Smith was the producer for the 2010. He's also the producer for Cobra Kai. And, that's a whole bunch of story. But I get why some people will feel attached, and older people than me will feel attached more that the Karate Kid, the first one, will be the first one in their list. I get it. But for me, I see it for what it is. It's a great movie, inspirational. It was the very first one, the one that kickstarted off. But in terms of the fighting, it's not bad at all. It's the weakest if you compare it to the remake, which Kung Fu is like, oh my goodness. Yeah. And even the acting of Jackie Chan, as I explained, it was like amazing and dramatic acting. Now, for the fifth one, the Karate Kid 3, we know that the story of that one was
Mhm.
like, you don't need this. You don't
Yeah.
need for this to happen. The great thing, as I explained, the great thing about this movie is Terry Silver, the psychopath of a sensei. That
Yes.
it was amazing. I loved watching that guy. It was just so old type of bad guy, but so
Uh-huh.
cool and so like, oh my god,
I
this
love
guy
when
is
he was just like,
psycho.
it was just
He's like so
like
good.
he sounded
He's
like,
the, he's
you
like
know the guy from Dexter's, yeah, Dexter's Laboratory, the one that's like
the
ha 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 ha. That's what he
yeah.
reminded me of.
So he was so great.
Yeah.
So, that's the one great thing about this movie that no, not the one, sorry, not the one great thing. And that's one of the things that I really love. The second thing that I love is that actually Miyagi in this one can showcase even more of his dramatic acting other than the first one, which you can argue that in all of his movies he has
Mhm.
dramatic acting because he doesn't do a lot of action. But in the second one and the third one, he had more dramatic acting than the
Mhm.
first one, other than the one scene where he's crying and drinking because his family is dead.
And it was interesting
Um,
because the actor who played Miyagi, he was actually known for being a comedian
yes,
prior to the
exactly.
Karate Kid. Prior to the
He didn't,
Karate Kid.
he didn't know martial arts like people think. He was kind of trained also as well. Other than Jackie Chan, he's already proven his experience, his repertoire is amazing. You've seen his movies.
Mhm.
He's like, that's him. So you've seen Jackie Chan be a dramatic actor like he was in the remake in the Kung Fu Dream.
Mhm.
That was
Jackie
a
Chan,
whole
Jackie
different
Chan.
level.
Like,
But that's why the third one is that, the great thing that they didn't put another relationship there. Because I was almost gonna
I was dreading it. Exactly.
so I was gonna quiet, no, quiet,
Quiet!
no,
No!
no more relationships, quiet,
Please!
Nani-san, control your dinosaur, hey, Banzai. So, so control your dragon, Tani-san. All
Let
right.
me find my
So
list, but
yeah, we're gonna
when
jump.
I
Since I finished, yeah. While you
you
search your
can check
list,
the comments,
I'm gonna check the
while I
comments and we're gonna jump right into
there's quite a
everybody
few. There's
else's
quite a
list.
few.
I'm gonna stop sharing. Let me stop sharing my screen.
Stop sharing your
Uh,
screen!
Jesus, I can't stop sharing my screen right here. Come on, stop. Hide this.
Cepillo.
Stop. All right, here we go.
Okay.
So let's jump into Spider Popo.
Spider what?
I mean, not Spider Popo. The Spider Wolf. It's just there's just so many
Spider
S's.
Popo.
All right, Spider. Jump. Spider Wolf.
Sáquelo.
Spider Wolf. His list goes number 1, Karate Kid 2.
¿Viste?
That's also a good choice. That's actually a
Mhm.
choice. Karate Kid, The Kung Fu Dream. Number 2. Thank you.
He
I
had,
accept 1 and 2 to either or. Yes,
pero
that is
Sparrow
actually.
Wolf,
And
pero
then espérate. Karate Kid 3 is your. I mean, Karate Kid 1 is your number 3. Karate Kid 3 is your number 4, and Cobra Kai is your number 5. Well, I mean, karate, this Cobra Kai has this another thing, but cool. Forget next Karate Kid. Oh my god, I love Miyagi, but I hate the bratty girl.
Bratty girl.
Bratty girl. Okay, I understand.
Bueno, pues
I completely understand you.
mira,
But let
ay,
me see. Wait, before we jump in,
I gotta open
um,
it.
I finally started watching Cobra Kai and I finished the first season today, and I really liked it as of season 1. Let's see the others. Quiet! Cobra Kai never dies.
Oh my God, Sparrow.
Bro,
Eso
lo que te
está.
estás perdiendo.
Ay, lo que te no, lo que te espera.
Viendo esa serie, caballo. So, déjame ver aquí. Thanks to the Karate Kid, me enterré un rastrillo de metal en el pie.
Está buena.
Bro, oh my goodness. You okay?
Porque, of course, era una
Okay.
buena idea hacer catas descalzo en el patio de abuela, que, by the way, eran piedritas. Shit, cuando pequeño uno es Megan ahí.
Gacho, bro. Oh my gosh. And then you get to see Aldo riéndose.
Yo creo que I think pain doesn't exist when you're a kid. Como que you have this adrenaline rush and then you do it and then you're like, ah! Because that happened to me once. De una vez me doblé un tobillo en casa de mi abuela y pasó como media hora después yo hice ¡ah! Y ahí fue que me empezó a doler.
Me río ahora, pero dita sea pana. Entonces, wax on, wax off, papi. Bro,
Gotcha.
pero wax on, wax off está ready. Pero jacket on and jacket off was a very practical entry technique para el kung fu. And it was great because as he went on, that's why I love so much the Kung Fu Dream, because his practicality of him teaching it strong, boom, boom, be firm, strong. You have to be strong. Es como que, whoa, like this is practicality and how you would see it learn. And ain't getting better than that. Wax on. Okay, sorry. Wax on, wax. Put it. All right. A mí, Cars me hicieron Cars.
Karate.
A mí karate me hicieron correr por la brea mala de casa descalzo. Todos estábamos pendientes de no pisar los vidrios rotos. Oh my God. Yo hacía eso, pero no atrás de los vidrios. I was like, oh
my
God.
Eso de los vidrios, pero yo los toqué.
Y Miyaguito y sus bonsais y este mistísimo de Japón todavía concierto veo aún para como espectador. No, mano, es que el bonsai, ese árbol, like you said, it's actually like $10,000. It's like, whoa. And it's special when you see it, it's like, damn. Denle agua a este muchacho. Tati,
siempre está tinteado, Sparrow. Eso no falla. Eso siempre, eso no falla. Oye, do you guys notice that he looks like Snake?
Yeah, Spider Popo said
Spider Popo said he looks like a solid Snake.
Like solid Snake. Snake! Y de momento, vuela. What the? What? Oh yeah, but that was Kung Fu. Yeah, exactly. Jacket of Kung Fu. Yes, it was great. Entonces, you got it. Yeah, Kung Fu, bro. You know. All right. So I talk for you guys, and then we're gonna head out with after that, guys. So let's see. So you guys can see, huh?
See.
Okay. Yeah, I can see it.
So that I'm kind of in the same boat as Sparrow Wolf. So for me, the first one is the Karate Kid 2 because I love the story, the fact that we get to see Miyagi's past, and I love the love story between LaRusso and Kumiko, ¿verdad? That's her name?
Yep.
I love this movie, and I love the bad guy, and I love that the final fight scene is, you gotta fight or you die. That's it. For me, the second one is the Karate Kid remake. This is because I was telling everybody before that I grew up with Jackie Chan, so I feel that this Karate Kid remake, first of all, it was Kung Fu, and then second of all, it was done for a different generation of Karate Kid fans. So you have your Karate Kid fans who love Mr. Miyagi, love Danny LaRusso, but then you got Jackie Chan, who we both grew up with Jackie Chan and Jaden Smith, and it represents a completely different thing in terms of the story and the importance of the characters. The third one for me is the Karate Kid. This is basically because this is the base of everything. It's the base for Cobra Kai. It's what Cobra Kai is based on because they take Johnny's point of view and then create it into a series. And I really like this film. The Karate Kid 3 is fourth for me because even though I don't think it's the greatest one, I think it fails in terms of story structure and possibly script and the things that they had to rewrite due to certain things that happened. I do have to say that it is the fourth one for me because Terry Silvers is one of the best characters that I have ever seen. He's crazy and he saved the movie for me. And then the fifth one for me is the next Karate Kid, just because I like this film. I like Hilary Swank. I loved her dynamic with Mr. Miyagi. We got to see a side of Mr. Miyagi that's different because he was with a girl this time instead of a boy. So it was a whole different relationship. But for me, the bullies in this film, it didn't work out for me. It didn't work out for me at all. So that's my ranking right there for the Karate Kid franchise.
And Spider Purple. Sparrow is always here, man. That's why every time I see these, when I see I go for Spider Purple. Oh,
Thank you, Sparrow Wolf. Thank you.
Sparrow Wolf. Thank you. Yes. Yes. Okay, mi gente. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you
Woo!
so much for being here today. It
2
is
hours. That's
a
crazy,
heavy
bro. 2
2 hours.
hours.
We were about to talk about Cobra Kai, but we can actually leave that for an entire different episode where we could talk about just Cobra Kai season 1, 2, and 3. And if you want this, you can let us know. And we'll
Definitely.
tell you obviously in advance the day that we're going to do this, because it's going to be focused on just Cobra Kai, as this was mainly focused on the Karate Kid movies. We're going to do just that one for Cobra Kai because, again, it's 5 movies. It's a lot to, process. And Cobra Kai has 3 seasons, every episode 30 minutes. So it's a lot to also talk about. And we didn't want to put you to sleep here,
And I want to rewatch it now that we saw the film.
And we can rewatch it to be fresh when we talk about it again.
Yeah.
So again, guys, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget this Saturday I stream. It's gonna be my time. And are we gonna do what we were gonna say we were gonna do, or are we gonna leave that for next time and we're gonna talk about it next time?
We'll leave it for next time, just in case.
Next time.
If anything, we'll announce it.
We'll announce it in social media or probably say it in our next stream, but we're gonna do some Karate Kid cool stuff that I don't know. We're gonna do something. All right. Again, thank you guys for being here. Follow us on Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as The Legacy Universe. We'll be all around those places. Again, that's our social media. Every announcement that we have, every little video that we make that is fun and you can enjoy. All the announcements will be out there.
Yeah,
and you want to add?
Yeah, I wanted to say that to stay tuned to our YouTube channel because tomorrow is the premiere of WandaVision on Disney Plus, and we found out that they are gonna launch episodes each Friday. I think we're gonna get like 2 or 3 episodes tomorrow, and then it's gonna be every Friday, so we can finally discuss something every weekend. Woo!
Yes,
we've done this before with The Mandalorian. We discussed all episodes on Monday. And we did it with Supernatural, and we've done it with a couple of shows. So we are definitely going to do it with WandaVision. So stay tuned to our YouTube channel so you can check that out.
Stay tuned. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Remember, Reload has not kickstarted yet. We will announce when Reload will begin once again. But remember, it should be every Friday at 8 p.m. Via the Puerto Rico
stuff coming.
Yes.
Woo!
Yeah, the Puerto Rico Comic Con's Facebook and YouTube. If the time changes, we will definitely let you know in advance. But stay tuned for more information on that. So again, guys, thank you so much for being here. And quiet!
Yes, Sensei.
Thank you for being here.